Hi there, welcome to the Binary 10 podcast. My name's James Blake, I'm the CEO of Binary 10.
And my name's Steve Smales, and I am the Chief Operating Officer. Welcome to the series of podcasts where we like to talk about all things data migration related.
And also, we'll talk about the human side of running a business, so we hope you enjoy. Well, here we are again.
Back again.
Another podcast, data migration podcast.
It's going to be great.
Although saying that, it's not actually data migration that's the core topic today. We're going to continue the really good series we're doing on, running a business.
Yeah.
We did a podcast on startups, focusing on how we started up. And I think today we want to get into the well-being of the staff, so that's including us, but also the members of staff we've got, and even our subcontractors, right? The people that we work with.
That's right.
So really keen to get into this because this is super important. And I think more so because, we are a small company that's growing. We're not, a big organization that's got, lots of, facilities and events and things that happen for their staff. But I think we're really trying to promote this. And I think it's super important, especially in the modern world that we live in, right? Where we all tend to work from home. And yeah, it's a bit of a different landscape. So yeah, keen to get into this one. But hot off the press, before we do, obviously we've been doing a few of these podcasts now. And we've been getting some feedback.
Yes.
Now, of course, I've taken out all the negative feedback, which there was quite a bit of. No, there wasn't.
Was there?
No, not that I can see. People are polite. Let's put it that way. But no, we've got some feedback from a couple of people that myself and Steve will run through, just to give them a bit of a shout out and also to respond. So let's go. The first one we've had in is from a Martin from Worcestershire. Thank you, Martin, for listening to the podcast. He's put. He enjoys it and finds the content fantastic, but can he have more Michael Caine impressions, Steve?
More Michael Caine impressions. Well, to answer you, Martin, your question directly, no. I got some feedback from a Danny from Sussex. Actually, you're from Sussex, aren't you, Danny?
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, it's funny. That.
Mm.
And Danny said, I was really enjoyed the podcast. Great content, really good. Absolutely loved it. But please, whatever you do, don't do any impressions. So that was Danny.
Fair play, Danny. I think there's a common theme going on here, isn't there?
Yeah, I don't know where they're getting this idea of impressions from, do you?
No. I've got a feeling maybe there's an impressions podcast coming in the future. Yeah. Hopefully not, but let's see. Yeah. We'll think about that.
Well, Martin can watch it on his own and I won't.
That's probably a sensible choice.
He probably will as well. That's
definitely will. Okay, and then I don't know if this is a true person, but a Colin from Kent.
Be careful with that one.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't want to get that one wrong. Yeah. He simply put life-changing.
Yeah, I don't know. He must have been smoking something funny, I think.
Well, really appreciate the support from Colin from Kent, and we want to know more. Why was it life-changing?
Does he mean life-changing in a positive or a negative way?
Well, yeah, actually, that's probably a good point.
I think we need to find out. I mean, the concern here is that maybe he's been on an ERP program and, it went a bit south or something else. We'll have to do a phone in one day and invite Colin on. We want to know more about that one.
I think I've got one more. Let me see if I can find it now. This one, yeah. So, really love the podcast. I really like the guy with the strange man bun. He's cute and funny. The one with the beard talks too much. I'm not sure who that's from. That's from Steve from Surrey. I'm from Surrey,
I was just about to say no comment on that one. Brilliant. Okay, well there's a few bit of fun feedback there, and we really appreciate that. So yeah, please keep feeding back. And anything you want us to talk about, whether that is data migration specifically, or if you'd like to come on the show and you're heavily involved in the types of technology programs we do, we'd love to hear from you. So yeah, please do. So let's get into it then. I think this is a really important subject, and it's great, obviously, that we're going to discuss it, and that we've got Danny that's come along to join us today. So, well-being, Steve, amongst ourselves and amongst our staff, and our partners and colleagues.
Yeah, so it's very important when you're starting a business. You start to recruit people, but also for your own, the business starters as well. You need to actually start thinking about well-being. And it's very tempting when you're starting a new business and you throw all your energies into it. You can actually end up doing really long hours. And I think with us, because we've started recruiting more over the years, we've actually got a responsibility to look after our staff, our contractors. So we've been thinking more and more particularly over the last year, about staff well-being. So I know you're trying to encourage me to have more holidays and things like that, and not work 16-hour days and things like that. But yeah, we've been trying to think of initiatives for how we can help ourselves and help our staff do that. And one of the sort of initiatives we've come up with is a Walk for Life challenge, we're calling it. So, I mean, Danny White, welcome, our project director.
Hello again. Yes.
Great to have you back.
It's great to be back.
Yeah, you've been involved in this Walk for Life thing. How do you
Absolutely.
find it? And why do you think it's important?
It's really good, right? And firstly, I think the way the world's changed post-COVID, work-wise,
Yeah.
and working from home so much, one of the key things, and I'm guilty of it, I'm sure you are, is it's easy to sit at home and have your setup, get comfy, work, and not get up and walk away from your desk.
Yeah.
When we worked together previously, we've worked at other places together,
Yeah.
and there's always that point when you're all sitting in a room together working, you say, oh, anyone fancy a cup of tea?
Yeah.
And you all get up, stretch your legs, walk to the kitchen, make a cup of tea, come
Yeah.
back, carry on working.
Yeah.
When you're at home, it's easy to just get engrossed and, have a whole morning where I'm just sitting at the desk
and
or
not actually have lunch breaks as well.
Yeah, work through lunch. And you just slide into that,
Yeah.
which is a dangerous thing. It's physically for our well-being. To sit in a chair all day is as bad as sort of smoking cigarettes, and allegedly, I don't know, I don't smoke, but so I think it's really important. So this particular one that we're doing now, I think is key, because the more walking we do, the more we're raising money for charity.
Yeah.
And therefore you feel that there's an incentive to get up more often, go and have a walk after work as well. I tend to, personally, I'll use it as a bookend to the day. So, I'll talk to the wife and we'll say, right, we both finish 5:36-ish, let's go for a walk. And, we'll make some money for the charity, build the pot. More importantly, I want to get higher than Steve in the chart.
No chance.
Because it's pretty close at the moment,
Yeah.
I'd say. I think there's three of us. There's me, Steve, and a guy, Kev, who are neck and neck. So,
And I'd like to say that I was involved in that, but I'm not, and I have tried. But just take a step back, because I think it's really important. So this Walk for Good that we're doing. So this was an initiative, and actually it was born out of us all coming together. We all the staff, our subcontractors, partners, all came together into the office a couple of months ago. Fantastic day, really good day, and we were talking about, what can we do all together as a team, because we're all in different parts of the country, but what can bring us together? And so what we're doing is we're doing this Walk for Good challenge, literally whereby every day we track our steps. We try and get as many steps as we can. And for the amount of steps we do, I think it's something, it doesn't sound that great. I think it's like £1 for every 10,000 steps, which sounds pretty feeble, but it's amazing how I think we've got about 20 plus people doing it.
Yeah.
And the amount of steps that they're doing is going up and up. And essentially we're going to then, provide that money to a charity of whoever wins the Walk for Good Challenge's choice. So, and the reality is it hasn't been for everybody. There's a couple of people that didn't want to do it, but for the most people, they've sort of embraced it. Now, I'll admit, I've embraced it. My dog's not happy. He's a bulldog, and I take him on 20-minute walks, and I've been taking him on 40-minute walks, and he's been flagging. I had to carry him home a couple of times. But that's definitely got my steps up. But I don't know how you guys do it, because I can't seem to surpass like 10,000 a day. I'm around 10,000, 12,000 a day, but some people are doing like 20, 25,000 a day.
I did 37,000.
Well,
But
there you go.
That was basically just a pub crawl. It's fantastic actually, because all this. I thought, well, where should I walk to? And I think pub, and I can't just do one pub, because that wouldn't do. Wouldn't be many steps, would it? So yeah, it's actually done wonders for my liver as well.
is it also
as well as
because
my
the
legs.
walk back is wonky?
I was going to say,
Yeah.
Twice as many
slightly.
steps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, but what a great initiative, right? And I think we've only got 5 days left, haven't we? And we'll probably maybe say on the next podcast what we've achieved, but we're doing really well at the minute and raising a lot of money for charity. So it's fantastic, isn't it? It's we love to be charitable, but also it's good for people, right? It's forcing them to walk more. It definitely is me. Obviously, I'm still not doing enough, but no, I think it's been a real good initiative.
I think it's really good as well. The important thing is not, we joke about I'm going to beat you and that,
Yeah.
but actually it's not about that. There are people who, and myself included, some days I do 2,000 and I look at it, and actually what it does is it flags to me that, that's a bad day.
Yeah.
I shouldn't
You
have
need to
sat
do a
at the
bit
desk
more.
as
Yeah.
much as I
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
I needed to break the day up and take
Yeah.
walks and step
It does
away.
actually give you that focus to think, oh, I need to do my steps today.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you just wouldn't. And like you said earlier, you just end up sitting at your desk and not doing anything. So it's always in the back of your mind that you've got to do it. And that's good. It does encourage you to actually get up and do something.
So pleased, so proud of the team. I think it's been a great effort from everyone. I mean, there are some interesting days on our tracker where there's 100 steps. Not sure what happened on that day. But we can question that. But I think, and just coming back to a point you made, Danny, about, just how we behave at home as well. So I think, what's good there is, yes, we're going to do that. We're finishing off that Walk for Good challenge. I think that spurred more conversation. We want to do 3 Peaks challenges. Everyone's, coming together more as a team. It's so many benefits. But I was thinking about what you said, and actually, I don't know if other people feel this, but I find myself not necessarily working late because I'm working 6-hour days, but because you're at home, sometimes you can have more breaks in the day, but then you have to catch up later. Yeah. So actually, I'm finding that a lot of the time I work from home, I'm kind of working all the time, but just with smaller breaks, which I know isn't good. And, I get a lot of challenges from my wife and all those sorts of things, and definitely trying to do better there. But I wanted to come on to, we've talked a bit there about the physicalities and making sure that we're moving and doing all those right things. And we're definitely trying to promote that. But what about the mental side of it as well? Because I think that, we don't see each other as much as colleagues, in the office space.
That's right.
I think we've done a few things, haven't we, to try and aid that. We're doing monthly newsletters, better communication. We're trying to get more people into the office, join our podcasts, all these sorts of things. But, some of those initiatives around, supporting that mental well-being, making sure that we're talking to each other, that we're, that people have got, someone to come and speak to that's not related to work.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think we just need to sort of foster that environment where people can feel like they can talk out if they're struggling, and we'll always try and do that. Our door's always open. We've always said that. And the other thing we do is we have regular meetups with all the staff and contractors, normally followed by a social event as well. Yeah. So we do, social events are really important, not just in terms of team building, but it's also like a reward for we know a lot of our people go through hard times on the project and long hours, so it's good to reward people and make them known that their efforts are being recognised.
Valued. Absolutely. And I think you and Danny, obviously you can talk from experience as well, every time that we achieve a go live, or we put a client's sort of system live, complete the data migration, have you seen that, have you felt that within Binary 10, and what have you found that's really worked for you in terms of your value?
Well, it absolutely does work. The open door, being people at the end of a phone just to talk to, because it's the nature of the beast with project work. There's always a go live, there's out of hours work, there's weekend work. That's that's the norm, okay, for projects. But whilst you accept that, it's nice to know someone's got your back, that you guys are there. We talk to each other, the 3 of us. But the guys that work for me on the project, I'd like to think they know I'm there at the end of Teams, at the end of the phone. They can talk to me. It doesn't have to be about work. If they're struggling or they've got something going on, I'd like to think they'll just pick up the phone. And I think Binary 10's got that culture. I definitely feel that. I don't feel like anyone would be worried about opening up on a phone call to you guys, myself. So I think it's good.
Brilliant to hear. And I think, and for anyone listening, we would love more feedback on this. This is a topic we're really passionate about. If you can tell us what's worked well for you, or, anything that you could recommend that we can bring into our organization or share with our partner organizations, then let's just do it, because it's it's so important. We all have separate lives, we all have our own families, but I think as a business, as a company, me and Steve feel passionate about this, and I know you've seen that, Danny, is making sure that we do give that attention to our people and try and enjoy what we do, and socialize together. So because the people who work with us, they're not just colleagues, but they're friends as well, and we want to look after our friends, don't we? So it's really important.
I've actually, it's funny, I've had this conversation outside of work with friends outside of work, when they've said, how's your new role going? You knew the guys that you've gone to. And I was like, I said, but actually, regardless of whether I knew them or not, I think it's about someone having your back. And that phrase, I really genuinely, I've used that a lot. I've said, I really feel like they've got my back. Yeah. And I've worked places before where I haven't felt like that, and it's not pleasant.
Well, and like you say, post-COVID, if people haven't got your back and you're on your own and you're working from home, it's not a nice environment, is it? So, Yeah, but I mean, well, and to put a spin on that then, so I think that's some really good chat there, and and I'm sure that will resonate with a lot of people. But we've got our next social event coming up quite soon. I think it's
Sandown Park?
week Saturday. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're off to Sandown Park. So it's become a yearly tradition, hasn't it?
Yeah, we do enjoy it, don't we? So
Yeah.
it's mainly the food, I think.
It's the food, but it's also seeing the system that Steve brings to the day, because Steve's got a little bit of history about, calculating the winning horses, and it has paid dividends on occasion, hasn't it? It has
6 out of 7 one year, didn't we? So
Yeah.
that was quite good.
Yeah, we've got to be careful what we say. We might have a bit of a following.
Not 6 out of 7 winners. Not 6 out of 7 winners. I'm hastening. 6 out of 7 were placed.
Is this the point where we say gamble responsibly?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
Absolutely,
Don't
gamble.
trust my tips.
Absolutely, gamble responsibly. But no, we're really looking forward to that one, and I love that day because it's a great opportunity for us to just all try and forget about work. A lot of the conversation obviously does hang around that, but no, it's a really good day, and the people there at Sandown Park are great and look after us.
Yeah,
And,
it is. So everyone who's ever been on that really enjoys it, don't they?
Yeah, no, fantastic. And and I'm sure we've got lots of other events happening this year as well. And when we have them, you'll see lots of pictures, hopefully nice and sensible, and full of fun for those days. But no, that's been really insightful. I think that's been a great conversation on the importance of well-being, and we'll continue to do it.
We'll continue and keep you posted, and probably a follow-up podcast at some point.
I'm sure there will be. There's lots more to talk about. But no, thank you for that. That was fantastic. So I'll see you next time, Danny.
Yes, thanks
See you
for
next
having
time,
me
Steve.
again.
See you next time.
Cheers.
We really hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you for joining our podcasts.
And if you want to see more, please like and subscribe.